Coming up on International Trade Focus, we delve into the challenges and triumphs of women in international trade. We will explore the barriers they face and the breakthroughs they've achieved. Plus, an exclusive interview with Grace Jebele, Head of Marketing at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, on institutional support for women entrepreneurs.
Hi there, you're watching International Trade Focus. My name is Anna Skio. On this week's episode, we delve into the landscape of female entrepreneurship in Ghana, the challenges and opportunities available to women in trade, and how institutions such as the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry are working to bridge the gap. We'll also hear from women who are making strides in the trade sector, including a female entrepreneur whose journey offers insight into the realities of doing business in Ghana. Stay tuned. This episode promises to be insightful and educative as usual. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching International Trade Focus. Now, to truly understand the role of women in international trade, we need to look at the numbers, the policies, and the real challenges they face. While women-led businesses are growing across Africa, their participation in export markets remains significantly lower than that of their male counterparts. Structural barriers, access to finance, and trade regulations continue to limit their expansion beyond local markets. So in this segment, we take a deeper dive into the state of women in international trade in Ghana, examining key statistics, the existing support systems, and the hurdles that female entrepreneurs must navigate to scale their businesses globally. Our focal point segment comes up next.
Across Africa, women are the backbone of entrepreneurship and trade. They are farmers, artisans, designers, and innovators, driving economic growth and creating jobs in their communities. According to the Mastercard Index of Women Entrepreneurs, women represent 46.4% of business owners in Ghana, contributing significantly to the country's GDP. Yet, despite their pivotal role, only a small fraction of women-led businesses succeed in exporting their products beyond their home markets. One Ghanaian entrepreneur who has pushed past these challenges to take her business global is Teresa Mame Beduba Ansa. Creative director of MBA Mod, was started as a small bead business in her bedroom in 2007, has now grown into a full-fledged fashion school and international toy brand, exporting Ghanaian-made dolls and crafts.
MBA Mode unofficially started in 2007 as a beads business, and in my little room, and officially registered in 2013 and officially started operating in 2014. So I would say we've been running this business for 18 years. Whilst going to a fashion designing school, we were taught entrepreneurship, and under that we were asked to get a name for the business and then look into the future in 5 years from that time, where we want to be. It was there that I realized that I wanted to run a school. And the reason was I had some mates at that time who came to school, but lackadaisically, they were not able to create patterns as we were taught. So some of us had to teach them. So the idea was, okay, I can do this after the training. I can start something on my own, train students in fashion designing, and then fill the gaps that I was seeing at that time in my business.
Teresa's breakthrough into the international market came in 2015 when a friend introduced her to a buyer in the US. Through Etsy, she was able to test the demand for Ghanaian-made beads, and soon she expanded into other handmade products. But sustaining the momentum proved challenging.
In 2015, a friend introduced his friend to me in North Carolina, America. And that was how my exports business started. I realized that the things we were making were standardized, and there were things that could be exported. So I got linked to the person who had a shop on Etsy.com, and we started with the beads. We added from one product to the other, and it blew up. So that helped me understand that I was only working in my own space, but my products were in that form that other people outside the country would want to have and then sell at the same time. So we tested the market and we realized that it was good to go into exports. After that scene, it died for about 2 years because the person had to move from selling my products to doing something else. Then I was introduced to GEPA, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and they help entrepreneurs who want to go into exports. And I started again, and it's been good so far.
But access to international buyers is just one part of the journey. Securing the financing to fulfill large export orders remains a major challenge. According to the Bank of Ghana, as at 2023, interest rates for SME loans in Ghana range from 22% to 30%, making it difficult for women entrepreneurs to access affordable credit.
Another aspect has been financing. So you get an order which is large, you have to pre-finance, you need money, and you go for loans. So I'm bringing in the bank a challenge that is persisting. You request for loan and you may not get a loan because one, the interest is high, and they are equally looking for collateral, and the collateral you have is actually your business, but they may not want to use your business as a collateral, unlike a man who may have other resources to be able to meet that requirement and then get the loan. So the challenges have been there, but there have also been mitigations from the GEPA for us. That is where we source our, we cool ourselves with. So they are also liaised with other organizations that if you have a challenge exporting, you can get to this person will help you. You can contact this organization, they will help you. So it hasn't been that bad.
Another challenge is the African Continental Free Trade and the challenge of raw materials. The African Continental Free Trade Area's policies require 40% of materials to be sourced within Africa, which is difficult for industries like doll making that rely on imported components.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? There was a mission or trade mission in Kenya, and I couldn't send my products because, under AFTAC there are some rules. You need to get a percentage of your materials from African countries, and you need to produce them here. And you go into what we do and you realize that with our kind of products, most of our materials are imported. But we do everything here. Everything is produced here by us. But most of the materials are imported. And so automatically it disqualifies us from coming under that umbrella. But for me, I feel if a policy like you import the materials, all right, but the assembling, the production, the handwork, everything is done here. Why can't we be under AFTAC? Because it is Ghana made. It is Ghana. So some of these things has to be looked at.
Within Africa, intra-regional trade is filled with bureaucratic obstacles. Teresa recalls a trip to Nigeria where excessive border restrictions made simple trade unnecessarily difficult. For many Ghanaian women looking to scale internationally, there are several obstacles that stand in their way. 1. Regulatory barriers and certification costs. International buyers require stringent certifications, particularly for products meant for children. Meeting these regulatory standards is costly and time-consuming, making it difficult for small businesses to scale.
For the challenges, there are a lot. One is how you get your products from Ghana to that country. So there are different modes. We have the DHL, the FedEx, we have the shipping company. So I started with DHL. In fact, so I choose based on what the client wants. And the money involved is so high that when you are linking up with the customer or the buyer, the buyer equally has to bear some costs, and they have to sell in their country. So when your costs buying from you becomes so expensive, including the shipping, then it affects their pricing as well. So pricing is one challenge, getting the right mode of transporting your business. And then you are also looking at licensing, certification. So I have not been able to tap into some markets outside because of international certifications, because of my kind of product. So I produce dolls, toys, and these are products that are known for children. And you are looking at safety regulations, certifications. And so you get a buyer who wants to buy from you, but they are also looking at their regulation in their country that you have to meet. And it is so expensive. So because of that, you won't be able to produce or deliver in a way. Yeah, and another challenge I would say is the woman and man gender. There are things that men will do that will push well than when women will equally, because of our orientation. Some of us women are really pushing, but you realize that I don't want to use the word gender biasness, but it is there. Yeah, a man will be able to get to a destination faster than a woman in terms of our way of working and exporting.
Gender bias and unequal access to opportunities. It is estimated that women face 24% higher loan rejection rate than men in Africa. Only 5% of venture capital in Africa goes to women-owned businesses. Despite these challenges, Kenyan women entrepreneurs are finding innovative ways to break into the global market. One key strategy is leveraging e-commerce and digital platforms to reach international buyers.
And we have an e-commerce platform where we sell our products. We equally use social media platforms like the Instagram, the Facebook. Personally, I have the LinkedIn, and some of these platforms, it also helps us in our production, like Pinterest. For a production like this, we need Pinterest to give us more ideas, and we tap into that. There are equally other technologies that we use when you come down to our businesses as well, and that is actually promoting. So when you talk about advertisement, for example, you can't do just door to door. Now everything is tech, and so you have to go out there and we tap into the technologies available.
Organizations such as the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, and the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, play a crucial role in helping female entrepreneurs scale their businesses globally.
Yes, so these are two organizations I have registered with. Another is AGI, Association of Ghana Industries, and then also liaise with Ghana Enterprise Agencies, GEA. And these are organizations that value women. Like I said earlier, when it comes to businesses, we see the man here, the woman here, because there are certain kinds of businesses that women do not venture into. When it comes to handicrafts, textiles, low level agriculture, you see women. But when it comes to like the mines, you see the men dominating. And when you talk about these agencies or organizations, they have brought women together, giving us training, exposing us to the international market, helping us know that we can do it, same as the men. It pushes us, it helps us leverage on the opportunities available, and our products are improved. So you are talking about branding, you are talking about packaging, you are talking about policies that you have to put in your organization so that staff will equally know that this is where we are going and this is where we all have to get towards. So these organizations have really been beneficial to me and my business. So just recently we got some funding from AGI, and that is to cushion the business. There are some machines that we needed and we couldn't have afforded them at that time. So they came in with trainings, and then at the end of the day we got the machines that we need. GEPA has actually pushed our exports when it comes to sending our product out there. They've given us the platform to exhibit our products, not once, not twice, not 3 times. It's been many times. And this is just what we need as a business to get the markets. We produce, we need people to buy, and they have the platform for us. And so I'll want to say yes, they have really cushioned us.
Women in international trade are not just contributors to the economy. They are key drivers of Ghana's industrial and global competitiveness. But for them to truly thrive, they need policy reforms, better funding opportunities, and strong institutional support.
Our market is big. We are still learning. There are times you advertise, you boost, but you get people engaging, but it doesn't translate into sales for you. And so the question is, what are you not doing that you are supposed to do, or what are you doing that is wrong? So we keep learning on the job. We've come a very long way, and we've changed, we've adjusted, we've brought standard in our production, and the reason is because of the international demand for it. So if you are only concentrating on the local markets, you know that locally people would want cheap, and you cannot produce at an expensive pace and sell cheap. You want to meet their demand, but our model is to export. In fact, if I show you our doll and I tell you that an average Ghanaian will want to use the money to buy fufu and eat, yes, instead of buying the doll, because he or she does not actually know the value that a doll brings to a child. But you go outside and you realize that the whites or the blacks who have lived outside value the doll. They know what value it brings to us. So because of that, you have to be on a particular scale when it comes to your products. So we don't take that for granted at all. We use the demand outside to produce quality, because we know it is not just being produced here, it is going out there, and many people look out for quality when it comes to production.
In our next segment, I sit down with Grace Jebele, Head of Marketing at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to explore how trade organizations can further support women entrepreneurs.
To gain further insight into the role of business institutions in empowering women in trade, I sat down with Grace Jebele. She's the head of marketing at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She shares how the GNCCI is supporting female entrepreneurs and the broader impact of women's participation in trade. On today's episode of International Trade Focus, we are exploring women in international trade and the role that the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, plays in supporting female entrepreneurs here in Ghana. Now, with the onset of the women's wing of the GNCCI, we know that there's renewed focus on helping women to leverage on international and local opportunities. Today, we've been joined by the head of marketing, Mrs. Grace Jebele. We came to have a conversation to find out, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the role that it plays in supporting female entrepreneurs here in Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. The GNCCI has established a women's wing. What motivated this, and why did you think that it was important to perhaps set up a women's wing?
Well, before I go on to why, I would want to just give a short preamble. Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GNCCI, was established by Parliament to basically be the advocate for the private sector, to liaise with policymakers to ensure that private sector gets a congenial atmosphere to do business. Aside that, we also build capacity, we provide networking opportunities for businesses and many other functions. Since its inception, GNCCI have been deliberate about women and women entrepreneurs. We haven't forgotten about where we have come from and the limitations that had been on women per our cultural values and cultural, if you like, cultural stereotyping. So from the onset, we've been conscious about women entrepreneurs and being deliberate about them. But more importantly, it was officially launched, and the launch included that of youth. So we have GNCCI Way, GNCCI Women and Youth Wing. So it was officially outdone. We were doing it without really making it quite official. So we decided on the 30th of January, we decided to launch it officially, and we were privileged to have the new Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry to grace the occasion for us. Why, as I have already said, now I'm going to your question. GNCCI Way, because we all know the challenges that women face, and I don't want to preempt what you would want to ask me. There's a need for deliberate action to ensure that women entrepreneurs are given the attention they need, especially, as I said, looking at the cultural background and how women had in the past been limited and societal stereotyping and confining them to certain rules and not allowing them to come up with all that, the potentials that they had in them. We have made a lot of progress, but GNCCI believe that more needs to be done to ensure that women entrepreneurs achieve their full potential and maximize all the opportunities that are available.
I want to find out the key programs or the key initiatives that have been outlined, as part of the Women and Youth Wing to specifically support women entrepreneurs or women who are in business here in Ghana.
The objective or our goal is to ensure that women access to funding. We see how we can liaise with relevant authorities to ensure that women access to funding is made a little more easy for women entrepreneurs. We are looking at building capacity. Women need a lot of capacity, personal capacity and also institutional capacity to be able to grow their businesses. We are looking at activities in that area. And then we are looking at women in international trade, as you said, women in export. GNCCI, since the launch of the African Continental Free Trade Area, has trained women entrepreneurs, prospective women exporters and exporters across the country. We've done sensitization workshops for them. We've done training for them, and with the support of GIZ, some of them had been even helped with certain tools, some of them small machines, others helping them to get the needed certifications for their products. So we've been doing this. Going forward, we are looking at even more sensitization on the AFCFTA protocol on women and youth. It has been signed, and our women need to understand what the protocol provides for them so they'll be able to take full advantage of that. On that protocol, we also hope to engage policymakers to ensure that all the policy structures that Ghana needs to put in place for women entrepreneurs in Ghana to be able to be competitive in the international market, or if you like, the African market. We engage policymakers, so we have policy dialogue. We are looking at, beyond that, we are also looking at market access. Of course, there are a few of the African countries that are open for the AFCFTA trading, but our women are already trading in their own small way across the globe. So we are looking at opportunities for networking. We are looking at, even though the GNCCI, we are members of the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We are also members of the West African Chamber of Commerce, so we are already networked. But we are moving into another level where deliberately we are engaging these chambers of commerce across the African country to ensure that our women really get to trade with their counterparts in the other parts of the African continent. It's one of the key activities that we are looking forward to do this year, and plans are far advanced in ensuring that we get this. We are still talking to development partners to help us. There are a lot of our women who are doing so much, I mean, considering the cost of doing business and all that, and they need to be helped to access markets for their products and their services, if you like. So these are some of them. We have capacity building programs lined up. I mean, we don't have time to go into the details, but we have a lot of programs packed. In fact, on the 10th of March, we are in collaboration with GIZ Trade Hub. We are celebrating the International Women's Day in another level, with a focus for our women on how to access available funds.
And we'll definitely be there. Now, talking about how to access available funds, this is a challenge that cuts across all industries here in Ghana, and whether it's a female-led industry, whether it's a, genderless, regardless of the gender of the leader of the industry. And so it is of specific concern to me. I want to find out, you briefly touched on it, right? But then I want to find out the specific assistance that you perhaps give to females, particularly in international trade, when it comes to access to funding. You mentioned the capacity building, which I believe is amazing, because there are some people who have the talent already, some people who are in the industry, on the various industries, and they are doing the various products, offering the various services. But then they definitely need some, skill acquisition to add on to the skill that they already have. So the capacity building aspect is amazing. When it comes to access to funding, we all know how important that is. So what are some specific, handheld, may I say, assistance that you're giving to female entrepreneurs?
To be able to access funding, there's one hurdle apart from the general problems that we see. It's the readiness of our people in terms of the records, what to show for it. Even if it is a grant, even if it is an angel investor, they would want to know the viability of the business. And this is mostly or largely determined by the books. And one of the challenges we have for our small businesses, especially our women, is proper records keeping, if you like, bookkeeping. And it's one of the things we want to do. We are not going to just have workshop and talk to them about how to keep your books, but we are practically going to get the tools for them to be able to keep their books. In fact, in one of the workshops that we are planning, we are going to have a practical section where our women will bring any information, any written expenditure or income, any records they have that is scattered, and we are going to help them put them together in a simple form that they can continue to keep their records. Because if even there's fund, then you are not able to do that, it will be difficult for you to assess it. Like I said, GNCCI does not provide funding, but we also provide information on where they can get funding, and where necessary, we help them to go through the processes. One of the challenges that we have is the ability to go through the rigorous processes of applying for some of these funds to the end. And this is why we want to use the International Women's Day. We are doing it with GIZ, and we are bringing some selected financial institutions. Some already have their products planned for them, so that from there they are signed on to. We have also been liaising with GEA, with some of the government grants. When they come, we provide information. We have offices across the country, so our members who are not in Accra or those who are in other parts and are interested, are assisted by our regional offices to apply to get these funding. This year, we are really hoping that, like you said, the capacity building is not just talking to them and all that, but for those who cooperate and be able to do, or those who have already gone through the process and they have their proper books and all that, we are focused on looking for opportunities where they can actually get funding. I don't want to mention any particular bank, but we have been in talked with some of the banks, and some of them have some good rates for our women, which we are encouraging them to access to be able to do that. Aside that, we also want to encourage them to practice good corporate governance, so that it's not every time that you want to look for a loan or something there. There are certain systemic or operational structures that if you observe and you keep the proper records and do the right thing, you'll be able to grow organically. You'll be able to save some money to be able to plow back into your business. You know, women, the way sometimes we take on ourselves a lot of burdens. I was talking to an expert from ODI, and I said that when in a family, the man will budget for what he wants to spend on ahead of time. Sometimes when we see the need, we just want to meet it, and sometimes it affects our businesses. So we want to sensitize our women on how to ensure financial discipline, so that they'll be able to grow their businesses both from within and if need be, look for loans or other sources of funding from outside.
On this week's episode, we're taking a look at women in international trade here in Ghana, the challenges that they face, the prospects, and many more. We are watching our in-depth segment. We're having a conversation with Grace Jable. She's the head of marketing, Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The conversation returns after this break. Don't go away. A warm welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching International Trade Figures. On this week's episode, we're taking a look at women in international trade, and we're having a conversation on our in-depth segment with the head of marketing at the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the role that her outfit plays in supporting women entrepreneurs here in Ghana.
You're doing amazing work. I'm really impressed. And these conversations are necessary, and everything that you're doing is a step in the right direction, because you know that there's data that speaks to the fact that Africa's entrepreneurship drive is on the rise, and females constitute a large number.
Very significant.
Very significant number. So in Ghana, we are contributing. GNCCI is contributing your quota by, providing a platform where female entrepreneurs can, even be better in order to compete. We talked briefly on the African Continental Free Trade Area. So how are you preparing our ladies in order to take advantage of the opportunities that it brings?
Everywhere I have spoken on behalf of the chamber, as far as the AFCFTA is concerned, I've always advocated and pleaded with our government to take AFCFTA as a World Cup. I always say that it is the African market, and we are talking about one Africa. But within that one Africa market, every country would want to cut the biggest cake of the larger cake. So as Ghana is always ready and one of the leading state parties as far as the AFCFTA is concerned, what we are doing to ensure that women are prepared, we advocate. We have been in meetings and discussions with policymakers on ensuring that the structures are put in place for women. we are glad to know, and when we hosted the Honorable Minister, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, when we launched the GNCCI, she emphasized on the establishment of the Women Development Bank, which we believe will help to a large extent provide the needed funds for our women who are export ready for the African Continental Free Trade Area. So in the area of policy, we are engaging policymakers. The chamber is on the various committees. We are at various dialogues trying to ensure that we contribute to the building of the structures for the AFCFTA, especially with regards to the protocol on women and youth. Aside that, GNCCI trained, if I say, over 5,000 entrepreneurs in Ghana with support from GIZ across the country. And we took specific interest in women. Aside the general sensitization and the workshop, we also went around the country to train women, to sensitize them about how to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. It tells you the importance we place. We believe that even though we had the general workshops and sensitization, which included both women and men, we also believe that women needed to be given a particular attention. So we did another one specifically for women. Like I told you, we are in touch with the development partner, some of them, to ensure that we bring the opportunities within the protocol on women and youth to the doorstep of our women. And we are also, like I said, we have already started discussions on getting access to their products for them. So we are looking at market access. We are looking at helping them to participate in trade fairs. We are looking at networking, linking them with other businesses in other African countries. Aside the capacity that we are doing internally, we have discussions on how to even help them to ensure that those who need the proper standardization and the certification for their products, they are assisted to do that so that their products can easily be accepted in the other African markets. So these are some of the things that we are specifically doing, and we are not relenting at all.
When you mentioned trade fair, it brought my mind to something. Because of the program that I'm doing, I've had the opportunity to attend a lot of international trade fairs where Ghana is present, we exhibit and all of that. You see a lot of women exhibitors in there. But one thing that I have realized or noted is the product diversification. It's usually the same old, the beads, the clothes, the cosmetics, which is amazing. But then there are other areas that we could also explore. So when it comes to the members, your female members, are you seeing a trend where products are being diversified, or we still have the same old?
I see it as a strength. What we try to talk to our women about, and we have a program we call Interregional B2B. One of the focus of that program is to ensure that our members are able to take advantage of the value chain and also be able to build synergies. Where we have the strength in, say, agro-processing, where you have a lot of our women in that, it's a strength. It means that if we are able to build them up, they will be able to pull resources together and meet a certain demand, because international market is not just about sending one container of products to your target market. It is about your consistency and your ability to deliver on time. Right. And that means that you must have what it takes to produce in the quantities that are required, and then you have the needed raw materials. What you see is that we have those raw materials that we can produce. What we need to do is to teach the culture of building synergies, teach the culture of pulling resources together, so that when you have a demand for, say, a particular product, and you have so many of women doing that in bits, they can be put together and then meet that need. In that way, we can be able to have a niche for ourselves where we have competitive advantage. It is very important for us, as far as AFCFTA is concerned, not to be seen to be competing amongst ourselves in Africa. So, for instance, if I want to export to Kenya, I must be sure what Kenyans don't have or what advantage I have over what is in Kenya. Then I fill in the gap. And if Ghana sees that this is the area we have advantage, comparative advantage, then we need to help our women even to grow those areas and be able to become giants in the African market. So even though there are few of them who are into other areas that are not so familiar with, we went for, during our workshops on the African Continental Free Trade Area in Takwa, there's a certain woman who is into green business, and she's doing recycling of this plantain. After it is harvested, everything that is left, she's making bags out of them. There are women who are doing so many things because they are not in the majority, they are not there. But we are looking at bringing all of them out and making sure that they are helped, because in one of our programs, we are looking at the women who are in science, who are in engineering, who are in some of these unfamiliar territories as far as women are concerned. We want to also focus on those areas and help them, how to help them to access the needed resources to be able to compete in their own right. So I would say that don't worry about the homogeneity of the things you see. It is in another way a strength that we need to build. Somebody is doing something that has to do with ginger. Another person is doing another thing that has to do with ginger. It means that we need to look for markets for that product and then bring them together to be able to satisfy that demand.
We also acknowledge the role that the media plays. So certain interviews like this would, throw more light on the activities that the GNCCI is doing as far as women entrepreneurs are concerned, so we can leverage the international and local market. So if somebody, a female entrepreneur to be specific, wants to sign on or wants to get in touch and benefit from all of these initiatives that you have in place, how are they able to get in touch? Not contact wise, but in terms of registration and all of that.
Okay, so the chamber is represented in 8 locations in Ghana. So we have an office in Kumasi that takes care of the Ashanti region and the Bron area. We have an office in Wa that takes care of the northern part. We have an office in Tema. Okay. We have one in Koforidua for Eastern. We have Takoradi and Takwa for the Western. We have an office in Accra. Aside that, our website is also available for women entrepreneurs that want to be link up with the chamber to go there and get access to us. We are always available. You just have to be a member of the chamber. You have to have formalized your business. You have to have registered your business with this Office of the Registrar of Companies. However, if you are a woman listening to me, a woman entrepreneur, and you have not even yet registered your business, you can get in touch with us, our offices that I have mentioned, or our website, and we can help you to formalize your business or to register your business so that you can also benefit from the opportunities that come. When the business is not formalized, the opportunity to grow is quite limited. So we encourage as many as possible to register their businesses with the Office of the Registrar of Companies, and then we help them to grow their businesses.
Thank you so much. And that was Mrs. Grace Jableh. She is the head of marketing GNCCI and our guest for today. We had a conversation on the role that her outfit plays in ensuring that women entrepreneurs here in Ghana are able to leverage both local and international opportunities. Don't go away.
And it's a wrap for this week's episode. Join us same time next week for some more on international trade-related activities here in Ghana and beyond. My name is Anas Pugh. Bye-bye.